Proof by exhaustion is so called because it's all about proving for all possibilities. We exhaust all possibilities to show something's true. So going through every single possible case. So we'll get straight into an example here. And there it is. Proof 47 is a prime number. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through all possible factors of 47 to prove that none of them are actually factors of 47, other than obviously 47 and 1. But before I do that, I'm going to do a bit of a side note. And I'm going to try and list all the factors of 64 as a completely different exercise, just to illustrate the point. So I'm going to list them in pairs. So I've got 1 times 64. I've got 2 times 32. So clearly it's not prime, because it's got more than 2 factors. Remember, the definition of a prime number is exactly 2 factors. We've got 4 now, so it can't be prime. 3 and, well, 3 doesn't pair with anything. 4 times 16. 5 times, well, doesn't. 6 times, no, it doesn't. 7 times, no, it doesn't. And 8 times 8. And this is the key point here. The factors repeated itself, so I know I've listed all possible factors of 64 now, because I've got a repeated factor. Because if I make this list any longer, it will go to 9. So this is an ascending list, and this is a descending list. So if 9 was going to appear, it would already have appeared on this side. So as soon as I get a repeated factor, I know that I'm done. So as soon as I get to the square root of a number, I'm done. So the square root of 64 is 8. As soon as I've listed all the factors up to 8, I know that anything more I get by continuing is just going to be a repetition. And the reason I did that is because I only want to do the necessary work in order to prove 47 is a prime number. I don't want to be doing 47 sums to check whether 47 is prime. I only want to do the bare minimum possible. So if I start at 2, to check that as a factor, and you need only go as far as root 47. So have a go, check all possible factors of 47 from 2 to root 47, and then conclude. Pause and have a go yourself. So my way of doing this involves a bit of a calculator trick to speed things up. So I'm going to go to menu and use the table mode on the calculator, which is mode 9. And I'm going to do 47 divided by x, and x is the top right button on the calculator, the top right black button. 47 divided by x. So that's going to do a sum for me where I divide 47 by currently an unknown number. I need to set the values of that unknown number now. So it's giving me g of x equals. That's allowing me to put another expression to evaluate in, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to press equals. And it's telling me what values of x do I want to start on. Well, I want to start at 2 and go all the way up to root 47. And the step is what number I go up in. I want to go up in 1s from 2 to root 47. So I can see that root 47 is 6.8556. So it'll go from 2 to 6. So let's write that down. So 47 over 2 equals 23.5. Therefore, not a factor. 47 divided by 3 equals, and that was 15.67. I should really say approximately equal to. Therefore, not a factor. 47 divided by 4 is 11.75, so exactly equal to 11.75. Therefore, not a factor. 47 divided by 5 not an integer, so not a factor. We're not getting whole number answers here. 47 divided by 6 equals 7.83, so approximately equal to 7.83. Again, it's not an integer, so not a factor. And that's all the possible factors of 47. All possible factors less than or equal to root 47 do not give integer answers. Therefore, are not factors. Therefore, 47 is prime. And when we're proving by exhaustion, it's very, very, very important you write down all of your working. We want to show on paper all possibilities being exhausted. So we'll prove that 47 is prime, doing the bare minimum work possible and showing you a calculator trick along the way. And there appears another example. Prove that no number of the form 3 to the n, where n is a natural number, i.e. positive integer, has 5 as its final digit. So obviously we can't try every integer because there's an infinite number of them, but we can exhaust all possibilities a different way. So try to exhaust some of them and see what happens. Pause and give it a go. So I'm once again going to use a calculator trick for this. I'm going to go into table mode, menu then 9, and put 3 to the power of x in there, and I'm going to let the calculator do the work for me. Asking me to put another expression in if I want. I don't want to, so I'm just going to press equals. I'm going to start at 1 and end at, I don't know, do as many as I can. I think the calculator has memory to do 20 of these. So start at 1, end at 20, see what happens. So, 3, 9, 27, 81, 243, 729, 2187, 6561. So look what's happening. So 3 to the power of 1 is 3, has last digit 3, then we've got last digit 9, then last digit 7, then last digit 1. Now 81, when we times by 3 again, is going to have final digit 3. So we're cycling through the same pattern of last digits. It's going 3, 9, 7, 1, 3, 9, 7, 1, 3, 9, 7, 1. We've exhausted all possibilities now. So we get that on paper. So 3 to the 1 equals 3. 3 squared equals 9. 3 cubed equals 27. 3 to the 4 equals 81. 3 to the 5 equals 243. And I think we've got enough information down there now to say the final digit will cycle between 3971 in an infinite loop therefore 3 to the n, where n is a natural number, can never have 5 as its last digit. And that's a couple of examples of proof by exhaustion. Now have a go at the worksheet.